Yeah, good evening, Professor Babita, I can see, and all others. Yeah. So just 1 minute to go and we'll start at sharp 5 p.m. So we have, I think, 1 minute more.
1 minute to.
And before we proceed further, let me tell you that there's no need of writing your name and institution in the chat. That's not how we take the attendance. I will tell you, it will be automatically taken on the Zoom. Fine. And requesting all to please switch on your videos. This is how it is required to attend this program.
Dr. Gaurav Dangar has raised his hand.
Hello.
Dr. Gaurav Dangar has raised his hand. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you want to say, sir, something? Dr. Gorakh? Or maybe it is accidentally done?
Could be.
Maybe it is, yeah, right.
He's there.
The questions, I think let's start and then the questions will come and they should definitely come from all of you. Okay, so here we have touched 5 p.m. on 17th September 2024 and a very lovely good evening to all of you and welcome on behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center. Let me just share my screen and get started. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So good evening, one and all, and very warm welcome on behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, also known as UGC-MMTTC and GAD-MMTTC. Prior to this, we were known as GAD-TLC, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. And this program is being done in collaboration with Tilak College of Science and Commerce, SK College of Science and Commerce, and Genoid Institute of Professional Studies, Greater Noida. A very warm welcome on behalf of all of us. UGC-MMTTC is situated at my own prestigious institution, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, a constituent college of University of Delhi, and I extend a warm welcome on behalf of SGTB Khalsa College and University of Delhi to all of you. We seek blessings from Guru Angad Dev Ji because this center has been kept in the honor of Guru Angad Dev Ji, and we seek his blessings constantly as we move from program to program. And let me remind to all of you, he was one of the 10 Sikh Gurus, rather the second one who was chosen by none other than Guru Nanak Dev Ji to take his preachings to the world. And in a very humble effort, we collectively, with the help of fellow colleagues from across the country, are trying to take this baton further, that how do we try to empower ourselves in the changing time, especially in context of higher education and capacity building of teachers. We also remember and pay our tribute to Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Ji, because this scheme has been kept in the honor of Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Ji at the central level and in the leadership of our Prime Minister Modi Ji. So I welcome each one of you with a virtual bouquet of flower. And I am grateful to our collaborating institutions and all the participants who have joined from these institutions. First of all, I would like to acknowledge thanks and also welcome each one of you on behalf of Dr. Swati Vitkar, who is the principal of SK College of Science and Commerce, and Dr. Anita Joshi, who is the principal of Dr. Tilak College of Science and Commerce. I also extend welcome to Dr. Swati Vitkar, who is the principal of SK College of Science and Commerce, and Dr. Anita Joshi, who is the principal of Dr. Tilak College of Science and Commerce. I also extend welcome to Dr. Anita Joshi, who is the principal of Dr. Tilak College of Science and Commerce. I also extend welcome And thanks to this institution, which is Genoit Institution of Professional Studies, Greater Noida, and especially my gratitude goes to Professor Dr. Savita Mohan, who is the principal of this prestigious institution. I will also like to say welcome to all of you on behalf of our core team, and my personal thanks to the entire core team, headed by Padma Bhushan Sardar Talochan Singh sir, who is former MP and currently he is the chairman of governing body. More than a decade he is heading our institution in the governing body of SEP-B Khalsa College, and we continuously we are getting his support and blessings. We are also having very other two renowned academicians as mentors, Professor Ved Prakash sir, former chairman UGC, and Professor A.K. Bakshi sir, founder VC PDM University Bahadurgarh and former VC UPRTU Allahabad, who both will be taking the first and second session respectively. There's no inaugural actually here. We have a very tight timing and every day we have to have 2 sessions. And I will also pay my gratitude and welcome to all of you on behalf of Professor Jaswinder Singh, who nurtured these centers when he was principal SDTB Khalsa College, and now he is Vice Chancellor at Eternal University, Himachal Pradesh. And continuously, we are seeking his support as well. And very, very importantly, now we have joined in our team with another dynamic personality, a visionary leader. Within 3 weeks, not even 3 weeks, we have seen the tremendous support that our new principal, Professor Gurmohander Singh, who is principal SETB Khalsa College, is giving to these centers. And he has also conveyed best wishes to all of you. And I am your main host, Vimal Rar, and along with me, the entire team headed this time, we will have Professor Sarita Pasi and Professor Babita Kola. Along with her, there will be many other colleagues who will be helping you, and my technical team who will be there in the WhatsApp group. Any problem you have, we will be resolving it as soon as possible. So I welcome each one of you who has joined as participant. Many of you are administrators in that, teachers from junior as well as senior faculty from higher education institution, research scholars, and others from all over our lovely country, India. Let us join our hands to make this new beginning for this batch. So after seeking blessings from God, let me apprise you about our centers. We have state-of-art facilities, and maybe I invite you to come here and attend some residential face-to-face program also, which will be launching very soon. We also have another center, which is Center for E-Learning, where we have the studio facilities and the technical team under which we have completed this EPG Pathshala project. More than 89 courses, each course having 35 to 40 modules of the 4-quadrant model. These are content is available on inflipnet.ac.in for all of you to use. Not only these 6 subjects, but at national level, 77 subjects are available as open education resources. We also contributed more than 50 MOOCs for the SWAM platform, out of which 42 MOOCs happen to be under this EPG Pathshala project. My own concept, the Teacher C-Kit, which many teachers are now contributing as open education resources. So you can also join and contribute that so that other teachers can benefit. Since 2016, we have been conducting face-to-face programs, but during the Corona pandemic, our funding was stopped and we were told to do into sustainable mode, and where we evolved this entire online mode. And from 2024, we have now again got the funding, and now you see there is a free program. This is fully sponsored by Ministry of Education through UGC. And in the sustainable mode, again, we continued our journey with clicking more of the online mode, where even the new models, how the trainings can be conducted in a more serious way. It doesn't mean that online will not be a learning experience. So definitely it is going to be good learning experience, but I request your attention for that. We also conducted a series of FDPs, especially for the skill enhancement courses, when University of Delhi embraced NEP 2020. And now I'm happy to share that more than 45 FDPs we have conducted in collaboration with Delhi University just for the skill enhancement courses. And the journey still continues. We are open for more collaborations on the new revised conditions. And we have conducted more than around, now you can see, 500, rather it's more because the statistic is only till June 2024, and we have touched more than 98,000 colleagues in terms of hand-holding them, learning from each other and taking them further. ARPIT courses, which is Annual Refresher Program in Teaching, launched in 2018. I am the coordinator of the National Resource Center of Chemistry, and from 2018 to 20, we have conducted these programs successfully. And I am happy to share the statistics that out of the 42 subjects who were there in 2020, our chemistry was number one, not only in terms of the enrollments and successful completion, but also in terms of the quality of the program. And because of the massive teamwork, it is a big team, more than 2,000 academicians who have joined this mission from last more than a decade now, that GAD-TLC was selected as one of the 45 centers out of 99 centers who were selected and awarded Malviya Mission Center to conduct the NEP trainings for 15 lakh higher education teachers. And here comes the new branding, the new name, the UGC-MMTTC. So for your own understanding, you must now know that you can conduct FDP workshop training from anywhere, but if you have to take it for your promotional requirements, then it has to be any of the Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center. And there are two type of them. One coming from the earlier PMMT schemes, which were directly coming under the Ministry of Education, like us, and other 67 of the UGCs, HRDCs, all of them are also selected. And now we have 116 Malviya Mission Teacher Training Centers available. And the vision of this new phase is to build competencies in the faculty for better teaching, learning, and research by exposing them to Indian values, updating knowledge and skills, and aligning teaching, learning, and research with the needs of the society and NEP 2020. So this actually gives you the entire vision of how these trainings are being conducted, and different centers, depending upon their expertise, they will be designing different type of FDPs, refresher courses. But then in terms of NEP, it is the uniform modules which have been given to us. All the centers will be implementing those, but obviously the resource persons will be varying. And where our center stands out is the type of, I think the best brains we are having support of like Professor Ved Prakash, Professor Bakshi sir, Professor Shakila Shamshu ma'am, and many others you will see who will be enlightening you on how they have really contributed to evolve the entire education system. Under this banner, we have already conducted the 1 month online faculty induction program, which is Guru Dakshita, which is a mandatory program for the first level promotion. We've also conducted one online refresher course in commerce management. We've also conducted 3 faculty development programs till now. One just completed a couple of days back. And we have conducted 18 batches of this NEP orientation and sensitization program, and 3,911 participants have already benefited. So yours is the 19th batch that we are entering. So welcome in this batch. and all these 116 MMTTCs are having these mandates. But then why the UGC-MMTTC of Khalsa College or the GAD-MMTTC you have to choose? Because we are working as teachers like you and try to see where the best fitting in terms of the timing. So 5 to 8 p.m. because that is how we are also looking at our own professional requirements. We are not taking any duty leave for conducting these programs, and the same where you can also meet your other requirements and learn at the same times. And apart from that, as I also mentioned, we have the best of the best brains who are nurturing these programs. These are the 10 modules you will be actually given exposure to. And this program, you have to take it in a way that it will be giving you orientation about how these different aspects of national education policy uh, are required to be implemented in your institution and as you as teachers. But then you have to introspect that where is the area where now I want to learn more, and then various FDPs and other programs which will be given by different centers, you can then join and then get benefited from these programs as well. So in this particular program, there will be 8 days online session. That's how these programs are designed. And that will be starting from today, that is 17, 18, 19, 20. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we will not be having any sessions. So we'll be having then again on 24th, which is Tuesday, 24, 25, 26, 27. And in all the days, there will be 2 sessions each from 5 to 8 p.m. Overall requirement for completion of this program, apart from the attendance. Now, how the attendance will be taken? When you log in, please ensure that whatever registered email ID you have given, log it either from that or your registered phone number. If you're taking someone else's email ID or phone number, please rename yourself and your registered name should be reflected. Otherwise, your attendance will not be recorded. So it has to be live on Zoom. There will not be any recorded session given, and you have to join with your videos on. Apart from that, there will be feedback of every session given where you have to give 3 takeaways. So that also will be analyzed apart for giving you the marks out of 20. And there will be 2 quizzes which will be given at the end of the program. And both of these quizzes will be having 40 MCQ each, and they can be attempted anytime between 10 a.m. till 11 p.m. of 29th September. Okay, so after we are through, that happens to be a Sunday, and that's how you can attempt the quiz. Both of these quiz will be based on these 5 modules each. So this is how it goes. I'll also share this important part of my presentation to all of you, that the quiz 1 will be from module 1 to 4 and 9, and quiz 2 will be from module 5 to 8 and the module 10. Feedback is compulsory. I repeat again. So there will be session-wise feedback. So 16 feedbacks of 16 sessions. And there will be 1 overall feedback form, which will be given to you on the last day, and all you should be filling. We'll be sharing these feedback forms only in the chat of the Zoom. Fine. For the first day, we may make excuse if some of you have missed out. My team can share in the WhatsApp group. But from tomorrow onwards, it will be given randomly at any time in the chat section. And only from there you can attempt on the link. And I repeat, please do not write your name and institution, because we are not looking at this chat will be more interactive between the speaker, some problem you're facing, or you want to suggest something or comment on something. So it will be a really chat. It is not an attendance place. So attendance, I repeat, will be taken automatically by Zoom. And please rename yourself and try to keep 80% time your videos on, 20% flexibility because of internet connectivity and some issue we can give if you're traveling. But then my team will be taking the screenshots, which all have to be given to the UGC as a record. So no certificate will be provided if all the assessment parameters, it's not that you're simply attempting the quiz and then not have attended. So all the three requirements, attendance and the two quiz, will be important for you to be admissible for be given this certificate, which will be as per the UGC template. And here is my Telegram link, which my team will also be putting. So tell your colleagues also to join our these programs. Babita, can you help? Professor Vedprakash sir has joined.
I'll just check, ma'am.
So one more disclaimer before I
Yes,
invite
ma'am, he is
our
joined. Yes, sir.
speaker, Professor Vedprakash sir, welcome, please. Good evening, sir, and welcome. Yeah, we can request sir to be put on spotlight and make co-host. So before I will invite Professor Vedprakash sir, former chairman UGC and our mentor now, and we are blessed to have his continuous guidance. I will like to give a disclaimer from center point of view is that the copyright of whatever information and the sharing is being done by the speaker is of the respective speaker. The center has no role in that. And also this applies to all of you as listener that you have to take a written consent if you want to share some of that material, or please do not upload or stream or his content or record it, because now that provision is there. So that can put you in trouble. And similarly, the disclaimer goes to the speaker also if there is some incorrect information or some sensitive issue, which is, so it will be on the speaker, nothing on the center. So with these words, let me once again welcome our esteemed speaker, the first speaker of the day, Professor Vedprakash sir, former chairman, University Grants Commission. And sir never allows me to introduce, as he's already a very well-known figure, but then still for the sake of our youngster, it will be always a motivation to know what all career paths they can actually look, what all type of committees they can aspire to be going into. So Professor Vedprakash sir is a distinguished name in Indian academia, and he has the unique distinction of spearheading the University Grants Commission, who is the apex regulator of higher education, uh, in the three top positions, which is as its chairman, as its vice chairman, and secretary for more than 15 years. So now that is something I think unique, which no one else has trained till now. Apart from that, he has also headed as Vice Chancellor of NEPA, where he was also instrumental in converting that into full-fledged university. So he was the founder Vice Chancellor of NEPA. And in his career of more than around, I think now 50 years, he has made contribution as advisor of Education and Planning Commission. He has been into National Council for Teacher Education, also started his journey from the school education. And there also I heard that he was into massive training of teachers in making the meaningful assessments when this National Talent Search Examination was introduced in your tenure, sir, when you are in NCRT. And also as Joint Director of Staff Selection Commission, Government of India. And he has, what I am mentioning is just, I think 1/10 of the positions which he was offered, but he never took into. And he also has been visiting faculty at University of Windsor, Canada, a guest faculty at Harvard University, consultant to the World Bank, and also in jury of notable UNESCO APID Venue Award for almost 10 long years at the international level. He has visited more than 30 foreign countries, as far as I am aware about. He has published extensively and he has got various awards. So thank you so much, sir, for joining, and we welcome you and take this very first session on higher education in society. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Bimal, for your kind words. Professor Babita ji, and all the participants of this faculty development program, which is being organized by Professor Vimal under the aegis of Madan Mohan Malviya Teacher Training Center at Khalsa College in the University of Delhi. Very good evening to all of you. What I propose to do in this 60 minutes time is that I will be reflecting on a certain global trends in higher education, in which direction the higher education is going today, which will also give you an idea where do we stand insofar as our ranking at the international level is concerned. In between, I would also be reflecting on the National Education Policy 2020, but I believe that the policy has been in the public domain for the last 4 years. It was released on 20th of July 2020. And I believe that all of you must be aware about the intents of the National Education Policy, which we have expressed. It covers 21 different aspects of higher education, which are the prominent ones actually, and wherein we want to, bring about certain reforms. This is not a big document. It consists of only 63 pages, which includes the school education, higher education, vocational education, teacher education, and the regulatory provisions insofar as higher education is concerned. So I would begin with the role of the society in higher education first. If you look into the past history of the Indian higher education system, you would find that high quality higher education in this country has come through private initiatives. They were the initiatives of people like Dr. Rajaram Mohan Roy in the city of Calcutta, who established the Hindu College in 1817. Thakur Rabindranath Tagore, who set up Shanti Niketan in Bolpur, 250 miles away from the city of Calcutta. Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, who set up Banaras Hindu University. Similarly, Sir Syed Khan, who set up Aligarh Muslim University in 1920. And Jamshedji Tata, who set up Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in 1909. And apart from these legendary figures, there have been very many people from the society who have set up a number of other institutions. It may not be possible to name all of them because of the paucity of time. But the point is that the society has always played a very important role in shaping up the education system. Globally, the society has contributed in a variety of ways, could be in the form of donations, in the form of philanthropy, in the form of endowments, in the form of setting up chairs, etc. Initially, education was confined only to teaching of languages and religion and preservation of the intangible assets of the particular countries, actually. But later on, we have created a humongous edifice of education. I will take you back to 1924. After the end of World War I, the world leaders had assembled in the city of Geneva, and for the first time, they came up with a number of resolutions. Of them, one relating to education had only 3 assertions. They resolved that everyone has the right to education. Number 2, that the children must be provided the tools for their natural development. I would like you, to underline this part of that resolution. I would repeat it once again, how significant it is actually, and what needs to be done through teaching and learning, what needs to be focused in our classroom processes. Even today, that was envisioned, that was said so very categorically by the leaders in 1924. What did they say? I repeat it. the children must be provided the tools for their natural development. Okay. Another one was that those who are backward should be supported by the nation states, and that the children must be placed in a position where from they can make a decent living and contribute to the creation of a civil society, unquote. Not much had happened. I mean, the world was again pushed into Second World War in 1939, which continued until 1945. And this time, after a gap of 3 years, the world leaders had again met, this time in the city of Paris, and where they came up with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There are 32, resolutions in that. I would draw your attention to Article 26, which has got 3 parts, but I will focus only on part 1. That is what is important insofar as today's talk is concerned. And in this Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they said that everyone has the right to education, number 1. Number 2, fundamental education shall be made compulsory. Number 3, fundamental education shall be made available free of charge. Number 4, professional and technical education shall be made accessible generally to all. And number 5 is again important for you. I would draw your attention to that. Number 5 is that higher education shall also be made accessible to all on the basis of merit, unquote. Now, you can see that the merit was underlined insofar as higher education is concerned. And if you carry out a dispassionate analysis of the leading economies of the world, you would find that they have evolved their education system around these 5 stipulations of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They have not only, made elementary education compulsory and free, they have universalized their school education. 12-year school education is fully universalized. They have also created a very outstanding infrastructure for professional and technical education. And they have also set up the higher education system where merit takes the precedence over everything else. But if you carry out honestly the analysis of your own system, you would find that we are still struggling with the universalization of elementary education in our country, let alone of universalization of school education. Every class happens to be a terminal class. Children leave out after grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and they don't leave out because they want to leave out. They leave because they get pushed out of the system. The second thing about the professional and technical education, we have not been able to create adequate facilities for professional and technical education in our country thus far. Though we have set up ITIs and polytechnics and made arrangements for the short-term skill training programs and long-term skill training programs, but there has been a huge mismatch between demand and supply insofar as skilled workforce is concerned. And higher education, I'm very sorry to say that because I have spent fairly long period of time in this sector. Higher education is nowhere in the reckoning at the global level. So this is the problem with us if you do that. We find that UNESCO, of all the UN organizations, UNESCO is the organization which seems to have done a great service actually. UNESCO has been championing the right to education at all levels, including higher education. UNESCO believes, because you all belong to the higher education sector, I would like to share with you that UNESCO believes that tuition-free public higher education is an important step in this direction. Free access to quality higher education to all appears imminent for realizing the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 by 2030. That is the goal which the UNESCO has set up. UNESCO argues very vehemently that the removal of tuition fees in higher education increases both the social demand and also the level of educational attainments. What happens when we find that when we find expensive higher education, many children, they leave out, though they deserve, they have the talent, but because of the financial problems, what happens that they leave out after school education, and as a result of which we end up losing large talent pool insofar as the age cohort of 18 to 23 is concerned. UNESCO has recently, what do you want? Okay, you leave it. Leave it's fine. UNESCO was distracted. Yeah. UNESCO has recently conducted a survey of 146 member states. And of them, they have found out that there are as many as 41 countries in the world which have mandated free higher education by law. And these 41 countries, all of them are not, rich countries. Many of them, in fact, 29% of these 41 member states are low income and middle income countries. But having realized the significance of the free higher education, what they have done, they have mandated higher education free by law. There are some countries which have not provided the data because the decisions are taken by the provincial governments and not by the national government in those countries. So I believe that removal of tuition fee in higher education could prove to be more effective in developing economies like ours. And for long, we have had a policy of providing higher education either through public institutions or through grant-in-aid institutions. And such institutions, they were not motivated to make profit. And thus, with the support of government, we were able to provide access to good education almost free. I'm the beneficiary of that system. Now, currently, what happens that only the centrally funded higher educational institutions provide free higher education to some select group of students like the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and OBC. There are also some states which are providing free education to the girls and socially deprived sections of their domicile. You have to be the domicile of those states. The situation in our country had changed since 1990s actually, with economic liberalization, privatization, and globalization. And what has happened with that this has led to slow but steady withdrawal of the state from higher education. And the process initially started with professional education, technical education, and medical education, but soon it engulfed all kinds and all types of higher education institutions. Now the centrally funded higher educational institutions are also offering so-called self-financing programs for the purposes of mobilizing additional resources for the sustenance of those institutions. So what has happened in our country is that cost recovery has now become a norm. then an exception because of the withdrawal of the sport system. This is one message which I wanted to convey to you. Let us look at the growth of the higher education at the global level. The global data report shows that the past 2 decades has seen significant growth in enrollment, although, I mean, millions around the world are still not having access to higher education. Enrollment has increased in all groupings, but at different levels. We can show that the gross enrollment ratio in higher education in India has touched 28.4% mark. But when we aggregate the figures, either at the provincial level or at the national level, we lose the sight of the problem actually. Because in our country, we have pockets wherein the number of higher educational institutions per 100,000 population is as low as 7, and pockets wherein the number of higher educational institution is as high as 43. And therefore, the aggregate figures do not provide us the correct picture. And which is why what we want is that we want to go down to the subnational level for the purposes of ensuring that children have appropriate access to higher education. That is what is required. The total enrollment in higher education at the global level is 235 million actually. The worldwide gross enrollment ratio has increased from 19% to 40% in the last 2 decades. There are countries in this world where the number of higher educational institutions is very large, and we are on the top. Of 88,000 odd higher educational institutions in the world, we have around 56,000 higher educational institutions in our country in the names of institutions of national importance, central universities, state universities, institutions deemed to be universities, colleges offering undergraduate and postgraduate programs. The second country comes the United States of America, which has got about 4,000 higher educational institutions. And the third happens to be China with about 3,000 higher educational institutions. But the size of their higher educational institutions is much bigger than that of ours. In our country, we have colleges which are having hardly 300 students or 400 students. We also have some universities, unfortunately, wherein the total enrollment is not touching even 1,000 mark. So that variation is there. But if you look at the gross enrollment ratio in higher education, as I said, when we had released the National Education Policy in July 2020, we were 25%. And today, if you look at the latest survey of research in higher education, which is brought out by the Ministry of Education, it shows that the gross enrollment ratio in higher education in India is 28, which is still lesser than the global average, which is 40%. There are countries, I mean, there's no point in making comparison with those countries where the gross enrollment ratio in higher education is as high as 80% or 84%. Look at the profile of the OECD countries where the gross enrollment ratio is touching 70% marks. In our national education policy, what we have said when we brought it out in 2020, that in 15 years' time, we are going to increase the gross enrollment ratio to 50%. Which means that every second child in the age group of 18 to 24 would be in higher education, which means that we will have to ensure an annual growth rate of 4.2%. Now, have a heart and look into the past. In the last 77 years, we have achieved 28% gross enrollment ratio. And now in the next 11 years, we wish that we would be able to almost double it, which to me appears to be highly unlikely unless what we do, we utilize the residual capacity of existing institutions, meaning thereby where we have very small enrollment, we need to increase the enrollment in those institutions, and that number is very large in our country. The another is that we need to make use of the conventional mode of teaching and learning coupled with the open and distance learning mode of learning and the online mode of learning. So if we maximize the use of information and communication technology, I think only then we would be able, and we will have to grow at the rate of almost 4% annually to attain the 50% gross enrollment ratio in higher education. Another problem is about the gender equality. We have talked about it in the national education policy. Globally, access to higher education has increased at a faster pace among women than men in the last 2 decades. This can also be seen in our own country, because if you compare the gross enrollment ratio of women with the men, you find that the gross enrollment ratio of women is 28.5% as against 28.4% of men. There are states wherein these variations are much larger. For instance, in the state of Punjab, the gross enrollment ratio among men is 25%, and among women it is 30%. But then we also have states wherein the gross enrollment ratio of women is only 16%. So, this is primarily because of our arbitrary decisions, ad hoc expansion of the educational facilities. The another concern insofar as the women participation in higher education is concerned, and that is again the global trend, in STEM disciplines, in science, in technology, engineering, and mathematics, the participation rates of women is much lesser. It is almost 18 percentage point lesser than men. So is the situation here in our country, which is also a matter of great concern for us. And this requires special interventions, not only at the higher education level, but also at the school level, because we need to motivate the girls to go in for exact sciences, and we need to increase the transition rates of girls in school education. I mean, from secondary to the post-secondary, only then we would be able to fill in the gap that we have. The another problem is about the inequalities insofar as global inequalities in groups with disabilities. It is estimated that at the international level, there are about 1.3 billion youth in the age cohort of 18 to 23, somewhere it is taken as 18 to 24. 1.3 billion people are having physical disability. And I mean, UNESCO and WHO, they have been arguing for it that we need to provide special facilities. We need to give greater care to the children so that they can also access higher education. I was looking into the data. I found out that about 18% children in US and UK with physical disabilities are the bachelor's degree holder. And I was comparing it with our own data. I found that 6% boys and 3% girls who are physically disabled are bachelor's degree holder in our country. And this is because of the poor transition rates of the disabled children from secondary education to post-secondary sector, and lack of support in terms of infrastructure and teaching and learning material. We need to pay greater attention to these parameters with a view to increasing their participation rates in higher education. Another matter of great concern, which is also underlined in the national education policy, is about closing the skilling gaps. The fourth industrial revolution, impelled by the rapid advances in the artificial intelligence, automation, robotics, and other emerging technologies, they have created humongous skill gaps across all industries. And as technology advances, education system in the leading countries are metamorphosing, anticipating, and preparing for the impact of digital revolution on the workforce. For this reason, leading countries of the world have been reimagining their curricular provisions and degree programs to meet the needs of modern learners. This has brought outcome-based education into focus. We have also talked about it in the National Education Policy. The number of students with the limited skills is very, very large. And this fourth industrial revolution has created another class of students, which are known as non-traditional students. Who are these non-traditional students? They are the people above 24 years of age. They are the people who have entered into the world of work, but because of these technological advancements, they find themselves misfit into the present system. They need to have different skills and competencies which are needed by the modern world. And therefore, these people, they wish to come back to the campuses to upskill themselves and to reskilling themselves. And the leading universities of the world, which is why, are reimagining their curricular provisions and creating tailor-made programs for these non-traditional students. I think this is also a challenge for us, and the educational leaders. I think they need to take cognizance of it and make necessary preparations for that. Skilling, as it is, has not been a success story in our country, despite its relevance and greater demands. I'm going to talk about it in my next lecture. The another point that I would like to focus upon is the global trends in interdisciplinary teaching and learning. We have not talked a word about it in the National Education Policy, though we have talked about the transdisciplinary research, interdisciplinary research, but we have not talked about the interdisciplinary teaching and learning. Interdisciplinary approach of teaching and learning has gained momentum in the Western world long time ago. And because this approach offers significant benefits, besides preparing students for complex real-world problems, they have been addressing this issue at a larger scale. We are not doing that. What does it require? It requires dismantling of boundaries across the disciplines. Professor Yashpal Committee report, which is known as Renovation and Rejuvenation of Higher Education, has also talked about it. It involves integrating multiple disciplines to provide a more comprehensive understanding of complex topics. This approach encourages students to draw connections between subjects, fostering a more holistic and nuanced perspective. It inculcates and promotes generic abilities amongst the students, and which is why leading universities are developing thematic units, designing integrated curriculum. They are switching over to project-based learning. They are organizing rigorous professional development programs for the teachers, because you have to bring the teachers teaching different disciplines together and help them develop an integrated curriculum for that. Indian universities have not made any significant progress in this area thus far. I will give you my own example. I mean, when we were taught about periodic table, we were taught a periodic table as a chart, actually. We were never ever told the relevance of the elements in the life. We come to know about it only when we find that some of our relations is onto the ventilator, the sodium level has gone down, the magnesium level has gone down, the potassium level is not improving, those kinds of things. Similarly, when photosynthesis was taught to us, it was taught to us as a biological process, actually. We were never ever told that it involves technology, it involves physics, it involves chemistry, it also involves language, and it also involves agriculture. So this is extremely important. I would earnestly request you to undertake an initiative in your respective institutions and to switch over to interdisciplinary teaching and learning. The relating to this is about the role of technology in education. I mean, technology, we have talked about the technology. We have created a national educational technological platform now. Ministry has already done that. But let us realize that currently we are living in an era where technological advances are more common than anything else. And in fact, there is a race between education and technology, which is going on. And this race will continue to accelerate in times to come. Leading universities have been promoting the use of digital tools like artificial intelligence, mobile learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, wearable technology, social media in learning, adaptive learning, and automated assessment procedures, etc. Online learning is gradually becoming more prevalent. And while some universities are offering full degree programs in online mode, there are also universities which are not using online programs for the award of the degrees. They are using the online program only to complement their conventional programs. So, I mean, we are talking about massive open online courses, which is becoming very popular. Professor Vimal might be talking to you about the MOOCs, or Professor Bakshi might be talking to you about it. Another technology, I mean, which has done wonders, I would draw your attention to that, and that is virtual reality, which is being now widely used by the Western universities and which enables remote students to take part in lab exercises in online mode. These are the initiatives which we need to undertake. We have made a good beginning. We started with the NPTEL program with the help of the IITs and Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. We had started using the GSET facilities in 2004. UGC had also launched the EPG Pathshala program under NMEICT in 2009 and developed multiple courses at the undergraduate and the postgraduate level. The idea of online mode of delivery in Indian universities actually was mooted by the UGC in 2016, permitting universities to deliver only 20% of the course content through online mode. Because at that time, we thought, I was there with the system at that time in 2016, we had thought that the universities are not fully equipped to do justice neither with the e-courseware development nor ensuring the access to the technological tools to the students. Because if you are going to offer an online program and if you have enrolled somebody, and if that student does not have access to the smart devices, the onus lies on the individual institution. They will have to ensure that the children who are enrolled into that program, they have access to the smart devices. that is now, you may be aware that UGC has brought out an integrated regulation, probably in 2023 or 2021, through which they have now they are permitting the universities to offer online programs on 100% basis, provided that they fulfill the conditions which they have laid down. That condition is probably that if the university is accredited by NAC with 3.26 CGPA and above, then they can offer 3 undergraduate and 10 postgraduate programs in online mode in disciplines which it offers in the conventional mode without UGC's approval. Other institutions, they would require approval from the University Grants Commission. I would be talking to you about the diversification of the campuses in terms of the student population. We have talked about the internationalization of higher education in the National Education Policy. The policy has gone to the extent that each institution will set up an office for the international students, and that we would like to attract more and more a number of students on our campuses. I would like to share with you that the number of international students has grown exponentially in the recent past. The number of international students today stands from 2 million 2 decades ago to 6 million now. And there are countries which continue to be the most sought after destination, like the United States of America, which is hosting about 1 million, actually, 1 million international students. UK is hosting more than 600,000 students. China has done extremely well. China is hosting more than 500,000 students, international students. But when we see our own data, we find that we are hosting only 47,000 international students. Most of these students come from the neighboring countries, and they come only for most of them come for undergraduate programs. Very few come for postgraduate and research programs. I think we need to learn from the proactive policies adopted by the United States of America, Great Britain, Germany, Australia, and Canada. Only then we would be able to attract more number of students in our country. The another thing which we have also talked about in the national education policy is about the flexibility of the program. I mean, our system has been known for its rigidity, but now the global trends in higher education shows that institutions are working very hard to come up with the flexible learning pathways policy. Flexible learning pathways is an umbrella concept that involves multiple well-designed learning pathways that meets the needs of diverse students. These institutions of higher learning, they believe that each learner has his or her own learning trajectory. And because large number of children from now on would be coming from the middle class or the marginalized sections of the society in higher education, and therefore they would require the flexible learning pathway policy. We have, introduced like this 4-year undergraduate program, wherein we say that we have to provide multiple entry and multiple exit options. But that is not sufficient. I think we need to learn from the flexible learning pathway policies of the Western world. There are about 11 different flexible learning pathways which are available at the global level. And we need to look into those pathways, and we need to embrace them depending upon our own context, because that is going to help us widen the participation of students. It would provide better responsiveness in diverse students. It would also improve the general level of education, and it would increase the completion rates as well, besides helping in career progression. And which is why, I mean, the Western universities are coming up with the flexible learning pathways. Let me also talk something about the quality in higher education. Quality in higher education is a multi-dimensional, multi-level and dynamic concept, which relates to the contextual settings. Though worldwide, we have about 345 quality assurance bodies that are operating. Countries after countries have come up with the national qualification frameworks. They have the National Higher Education Qualification Framework, which we have also brought out in the recent past. We have also introduced a system of internal quality assurance and set quality benchmarks. But one thing which is very important to know about quality, there was a conference held in 2019 in China, and the educational leaders tried to come up with a universal definition of quality in education, but they could not arrive at a universal definition of quality. And eventually they said that quality is a social construct and that it cannot be articulated. And it will continue to remain a moving target. Nevertheless, these quality assurance bodies have come up with their own criteria, be it relating to the, I mean, global agencies like the QS ranking or Times Higher Education Supplement or Shanghai, etc. Or for that matter, what we have done in our country through NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, National Board of Accreditation. And since 2015, we have also our own ranking system, that is the National Institutional Ranking Framework, through which we are ranking institutions under different, I think 10 or 11 different categories that is there. But linked with this is a major concern that is about the global ranking, which has given rise to lots of concern in higher education. And when I was with the University Grants Commission, I used to face this question in the parliamentary committees, be it a consultative committee or the standing committee. And very often the political executives would throw up this question on us as to why our institutions are not figuring in global ranking. I mean, there are multiple reasons for that. I mean, if I share with you the latest ranking of QS ranking of 2025, which has come up recently, I found out that about 1,500 universities from about 100 odd countries had participated in that ranking. And of the top 10, I found out that 4 are from United States, 4 from Great Britain, 1 from Switzerland, and 1 from Singapore. And I thought to go a little deeper into that list, and I found out that of the top 100, there were 24 universities from the United States of America, then 15, I think 14 or 15 from the United Kingdom. You can Google and you can see it for yourself. But the point which I would like to focus on is that in the recent past, China has invested a lot of resources and taken the ranking at the global level very seriously. And in QS ranking 2025, I found out that there are 5 universities from China which has figured in the top 100. Ours is only the IIT Delhi, which has been ranked 150th, and the Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, which is one of our very prized institutions, it has been ranked 211. So this is primarily because of the research standing of these institutions, because of the number of international faculty there, international students, citation, and the public perception. I mean, these are the vital parameters which are taken into considerations. Let me quickly, I mean, this is 6:08. Let me share with you about the research aspect. Universities, of course, you would agree with me, have got dual responsibility to serve the local needs on the one hand and to address global concerns through research on the other. But the modern societies need a greater number of research universities. And the number of research universities is has always been small, and it will remain small. And if you look at the profile of the research universities, you would find that most of the research universities are public universities. There are very few private universities which are research universities, research intensive. In our policy, we have said that we will have 3 sets of institutions. One would be research intensive, another would be teaching intensive, and the third would be autonomous colleges with degree awarding powers. But if you look at the profile of these universities, actually, you will find that in US, we have about more than 200 research intensive universities. And the US alone is publishing more than 700,000 research papers annually. The share of US in global research is 17%. And why is that so? Because the US is spending 3.46% of their GDP on research and development. This is one thing that I wanted to share with you. If you look at the UK universities, UK is a very small system compared to that of US and our own system. But I mean, US is also UK is the UK share in global research is about 8%. But UK is also spending 2.91% of its GDP on research and development. Let me also share with you the figures of the China. China has outranked all the countries insofar as their share in global research is concerned. China's share in global research stands 20%. And China is publishing more than 1 million research papers annually. And China is spending 2.45% of its GDP on research and development. When we compare our own system, we find that hardly 10% of the universities or can be considered as research intensive universities. We are publishing around 275,000 research papers annually. Our share in global research is as much as that of the United Kingdom, but UK is a very small system. Our share should have been much larger. And the reason for that is that as against the percentage of UK, US, and China that I have shared, we are spending only 0.65% of our GDP on research and development. Now we have established the National Research Foundation, and we hope that the National Research Foundation will come up with a big budget and that they will prioritize the areas of research and that they would provide greater financial assistance to the Indian universities so that we can also compete with the leading universities of the world in this fiercely competitive world. So I would like to, Babita, you are there now. So, I mean, I can go on and on, but let me sum up quickly. Our challenges are humongous, actually. We have an acute shortage of faculty in our institutions. We have the access problem. We have the equity problem, rising costs because the cost of higher education is increasing in leaps and bounds. And we have different sets of institutions in our country. For them, the priorities are altogether different. We have the problem of diminishing quality of research, and we have the problem of introducing certain reforms without adequate preparations on our part. There are we are not taking cognizance of the fact that there are some professions which are showing a surge in job while others are shrinking. And as a result of which, what is happening that in some of the disciplines we have greater pressure of enrollment, but as against some disciplines like humanities and languages and social sciences, wherein the enrollment is declining, which is also a major, which should be a major concern for us, because if we continue, I mean, to focus only on market-oriented programs and allow the disciplines like humanities and social sciences and languages to languish in poverty, we will become a very weak society. Of course, I do agree that we need to come up with high opportunity programs in areas such as health, care support, behavioral sciences, international business, computer and mathematical occupations. But at the same time, we have to support the other domains of knowledge as well. The current trends highlight the need for a reimagined approach to giving futuristic orientation to, number one, interdisciplinary teaching and learning. Because when students are going to connect different disciplines, they are going to have a wider world's view. And because the new knowledge lies only at the intersections of the different disciplines, and therefore it is of paramount significance. The another is that we have to give futuristic orientation to maximization of the use of technology. We should now not be caught by the technological advancements like we were caught in early 80s and late 70s and early 80s. We have to give futuristic orientation to enhancing the student support services. We need to strengthen the industry partnership. We have to strengthen the faculty and improve the operational efficiency. All this needs to be done from micro level to macro level, which also includes meso level, which means the institution level. And therefore, the key lies in continuous adaptation and evolution of educational offerings. And it would require a dynamic approach in this ever-evolving economic landscape with the full support of the society, with the full support of the federal government and the provincial government. And the governments would put higher education onto the priority list. Only then we would be able to strengthen the higher education system in the country. Only then we would be able to strengthen even the secondary and the elementary education, because everything flows out of higher education. I think that is what is needed. So in today's talk, I wanted to reflect on these major issues. If you have questions relating to what all I have said, I will be answering to your questions. If you have some questions on aspects which probably I have missed insofar as the intents of the National Education Policy 2020 is concerned, I would be more than happy to answer to those questions as well. So over to you, Babita.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I invite questions, comments, discussion from the participants.
You can also make observations if you have any, apart from the questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can interact with sir directly, or you can write it in the chat box. So meanwhile, while the participants would be writing their questions, or they would like to participate in the discussion, I have just small queries, which is like for my own understanding.
Yeah.
You said we are coming up with 3 types of universities. Have they already been formed, or they are yet to come? Like research intensive, teaching intensive, and autonomous.
Babita, you are the part of the system. I'm a retired fellow. Okay, huh? I'm a spent force. You should be knowing it. I do not know. The
Okay, sir.
answer to that is, let me tell you.
Yeah.
We have very few research intensive institutions. And when I'm saying institutions, I'm including all those institutions which are singularly devoted to research. like CFTRI, like Center for Cellular and Microbiology, CCMB Hyderabad, like CSIR labs, okay, like the inter-university centers which the UGC has established in the name of Ayuka Pune or Inter-University Accelerator Center in Delhi. I mean, these are all research institutions. But if you look at the research-intensive university, we have very few actually. I do not want to become a subject of criticism by naming some of them. I mean, that depends upon public perception. If I name, Central University Hyderabad, you can question me that, sir, Central University Hyderabad is offering only the postgraduate and the research programs. They don't have undergraduate programs, all those kinds of things. The answer to your question is no. And if you want my opinion, I'm not in favor of categorizing institutions like that. What do you mean, Amit? University is a place where universal knowledge should exist. And university is a place which should serve both the purposes. It should serve the society, and it should also take the society to the next stage of development. And that can be done only through research. And therefore, if you are saying teaching intensive universities, you are undermining the potential of those institutions. You are not considering them for research. The another problem in our country is that we have more than 49,000 colleges in this country offering undergraduate and postgraduate program. Even in your own esteemed university, University of Delhi, on the one hand, you have St. Stephen College. You have Hindu College. You have Hansraj College. You also have Arvindo College, Deshbandhu College, and somebody will fight with me if I'm taking the name. The kind of disparity in academic attainments that we see within the same university, if you are going to make all 49,000 colleges autonomous and give them degree awarding power, what kind of chaos are you going to create in the country? When you are with, of course, we should have given up this affiliating system. Right in the beginning, when we set up these three universities in the port cities of Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras, we followed the pattern of London University. London was an affiliating university. London gave up the affiliating system in 1858. We are still continuing with that. And it was debated in the parliament at length. But at that time, because we had very limited resources at that time, and therefore it was wisely thought by the leaders at that time that we are not yet ready. So we will continue with the affiliating system, but we are going to give it up. As a result of which, the University Grants Commission was asked to come up with the scheme of the autonomous colleges. And what was the idea? That these colleges would design their own curriculum, prescribe their own syllabi, conduct their own examination, so that they can develop expertise in these three areas. And then they would convey the results to the university, and university would award the degrees. That is the arrangement which is continuing even today. So we should have given it up. But now, if you look at 49,000 colleges, and if you make them degree awarding institutions, it will create a huge problem actually in the country. We will be very unfair with some of the children actually, because nobody is going to touch them in the world of work, graduating some children from certain institutions. So that has not happened yet. In the policy, what we do is many a time we make some recommendations just for the sake of making recommendations. I don't think this is going to happen. It's a big challenge. It's a very big challenge actually, and you yourself can understand the consequences of that.
So yeah, another point I had, which is of course related.
Let others also.
Yes, sir.
Ask the questions.
There are questions from participants.
Yeah.
Dr. Kamal Preet, she has written, What is your view on growing stress on quality of research papers rather than a quantity of research papers rather than the quality? In most private higher education colleges, this is what is required.
See, there are two things. While at the and even at the international level, both are important: the volume of research and the quality of research. China is producing more than 1 million research papers annually, and they have outranked all other countries of the world. Now, what has happened that the quality is declining, and as a result of which, China is now expressing its concern that large number of their research papers are being rejected by the high impact international journals. So they have lodged a complaint against that. So the point is that while quantity is important, but quality is quality quality takes the precedence on the quantity. And I hope that with the onset of the National Research Foundation, they would prioritize the areas of research so that we can give up this practice of repetitive research, taking up mundane kinds of problems, taking up problems which are not going to bring about any qualitative improvement on the lives of the people. These are some of the concerns which we must keep in mind. Actually, this is a very and which is why your number is so small, because the quality is not good. So country like ours, I mean, which is investing so very little on research and development. I told you that we are spending only 0.65% of the GDP on research and development, as against 3.46% of US and 2.49% of China. We need to invest more so that the quality could be improved. Okay. And what we need to do is that we need to forge collaborations with the business houses, big industries actually. We should identify their problems, provide solutions to them so that they can partner with the educational institutions. They can set up their workshops or the incubation centers on our campuses and create facilities which we can access. We are still a poor country. I mean, which is why the University Grants Commission had come up with these common research facilities in the name of Inter-University Accelerator Center and Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, and UGC DAE Consortium in Indore with its branch offices in Trombay and in Calcutta. So we need to do that. We need to collaborate actually.
So there was another question which you have already answered. The question was of Dr. Sukumar Paul.
Yeah.
Why have we failed to develop more research institutions? So,
पैसा नहीं है भाई. This is because of that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
People are capable. It's not that there's no dearth of talent. We have a large number of scientists in our country, but they do not have access actually to outstanding research facilities. That is what is needed in foreign in these Western world. What I have found, you may be knowing it, that they do not make distinction between a private university and a public university when it comes to financing research. I mean, if University of California at Berkeley, which happens to be a public university, if they can access, if they can have from the US Army, Stanford, which is a private university, can also have projects from the US Army. US Army will not turn a blind eye. They will not say that you are a private university, we will not give you the project. Whereas we have that kind of discrimination in our country in certain cases, actually, not in all the cases. We need to learn, certain things from the leading institutions. We cannot transfer the culture of their campuses onto our campuses, but there are certain things which can be learned and which can be implemented.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, it is my honor to present a vote of thanks to you. It is so heartening to learn that there are so many challenges in front of us, but the way you lucidly present them and make everybody aware of what challenges are lying ahead in the coming decade, that is really something which is putting us into thinking that how we can contribute and do our bit, which whatever way it is possible. And I would say the way you bring the global perspective into higher education system in India is really commendable. So we feel with such insights, we will also reach there soon.
Okay.
Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Professor Bakshi.
Good evening, sir. कैसे हैं? How are you?
मैं ठीक हूँ. I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I don't want to eat up your time. Okay.
No, please. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Okay, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Good night to everyone. Thank you.
So I would like to share the screen. Just give me a minute. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. So now we are in the second session of NEP Orientation and Sensitization Program. Today is the first day, and this program will continue up to 27th November. Professor Bakshi is an integral part of this center, and he needs no introduction. But for the sake of few participants who probably will hear Sir for the first time, I would like to introduce Sir. Sir is going to speak on higher education and society, and brief introduction about Sir, and I'm sure you all are going to become his real fans after listening to him. He's such an eloquent speaker. Professor Bakshi is a renowned academician and a former Sir Shankar Lal Professor of Chemistry at University of Delhi. He's also founding Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Bahadurgarh, located in Haryana. He's been Executive Director of Tertiary Education Commission, Mauritius, for which he has been selected from the at a global level. So the competition is not a national level competition; it's an international level competition. And he's been Vice Chancellor of UP Rajeshri Tandon Open University at Allahabad. Sir has been Head, Department of Chemistry, Director, CPDHE, Director, ILLL, that is Institute of Lifelong Learning, University of Delhi. And Sir has been a visiting professor to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, which is also located in Delhi. Professor Bakshi has been the chairman of GAD-TLC, which is the earlier name of the center, and a member of the Standing Committee of National Mission on Education through ICT, Government of India. And he's also chairman of Content Advisory Committee for Chemistry for Sakshat, portal of MHRD, Government of India. Sir has been awarded gold medal twice, a record breaker, and he's received several honors, and he's been felicitated twice for his outstanding contributions to education by former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Sir has co-authored nearly 200 research and education articles, and he has to his credit one patent. And he's also authored and co-authored books and more than 50 ebooks as editor, chairman, convener of the working groups. And he has more than 60 e-modules, again as either author or co-author, for PG chemistry courses and ARPIT programs of MHRD, Government of India. Professor Bakshi is one of the most sought after speakers in the country. And he's delivered more than 400. Now it must have crossed this number because I've been saying this for so many lectures. So this needs to be, reviewed. And in the last 4 years, he's delivered in numerous number of lectures at both national and international levels. He's been a member of National Writing Team for Chemistry for class 11 and 12 of NCERT books. Professor Bakshi was elected as the president of the section of Chemistry Sciences of ISCA, Indian Science Congress Association, for the year 2011 and 12. He's been a member of various committees at national and international level. Professor Bakshi was felicitated by Union Minister Smriti Zubin Irani for his contributions, outstanding contributions to this center as chairman, GAD-TLC Center, in the professional development of teachers of this country. And he continues to contribute towards this professional development of teachers very tremendously. And it is hats off to you for delivering so many lectures, and each one with such a zeal and zest that one feels one doesn't know how does the time fly. He's also one of the first persons from University of in India to have been selected as a member scientist of third Indian research expedition to Antarctica. And this expedition built India's permanent base, Dakshin Gangotri, in Antarctica. With these words, I request Sir to deliver his talk, and I'll stop sharing my screen, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Babita Kaula, for your very kind words of introduction. And good evening, all the participants. I welcome you all to this NEP orientation and sensitization program being organized by GAD-MMTTC at SGTP Khalsa College. And I can see we have more than 170 participants in this program. And as I was going through the list of the participants, it's a mixed lot. We have very senior people, some with more than 20 years of experience, and some very young, just 1 or 2 years of experience. And then they represent different disciplines. So it's indeed a great pleasure and a privilege to address such a heterogeneous group on a topic which is very, very important. And as you will see in this program, the main focus is on National Education Policy 2020. So in this context, I shall be speaking today on higher education and society. That is the broad theme. But in that, I will talk about the challenges in higher education which you as teachers are going to face. And I think this is a very important topic for each one of you. And as I think already it has been mentioned, please keep your videos on. This is mandatory as per the UGC guidelines. This is a small request to each one of you. So starting my talk, let me share my screen first. Babita, is my screen visible and am I audible?
Yes, sir. Very
I
much.
can see Professor Sarita also. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Sarita.
Yes, sir. Good
He's
evening.
a very important, member of our working group.
So
And
it's such a delight to hear your talks that one can't stop.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So as you can see, this is the title of my talk. In the light of NEP 2020, Empowering Teachers for Challenges in Higher Education in India in the 21st Century. And as it has been mentioned here, challenges are to be taken as opportunities in disguise. So you please listen to this talk from that point of view. This
Sir, you're muted.
So do I start from the beginning then again?
No. It was just for a fraction.
Okay. So this is a motivational talk based on NEP 2020 with an aim to empower you so that you are able to succeed and thrive in the 21st century. And believe you me, it can prove to be a game changer for each one of you. This entire talk is based on my conceptualization and experience. And it will prepare you for facing the challenges not only in your professional life, but even in your personal life as well. The thinking behind the talk is, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So that's how this talk has been planned. This talk will be in two parts. In the first part A, it will be an introductory part where I will just touch upon NEP 2020 and the traditional roles of teachers. See, we are talking about national education policy. So what is the spirit behind National Education Policy 2020? First thing you have to remember that it is an education policy. And please remember that education is relevant and of quality only when it is able to serve the needs of the changing society. Otherwise, education has no meaning. And in the 21st century, world is changing very, very fast. Society is changing very, very fast, mainly because of technological advancements. And therefore, education will also have to change if it has to serve the needs of the society. And in this NEP 2020, therefore, proposes various reforms in education, both school and college education, that are suited to 21st century needs. If you look at the document of NEP 2020, it's a visionary document which expresses the aspirations of the nation and aims at making India a global knowledge superpower. See, when I say global knowledge superpower, it means superpower not only in terms of knowledge dissemination, but also in terms of knowledge creation, and that is research. And the second is global study destination. That means our all higher educational institutions should become so good that the learners from all over the world come to India for their studies. And through this policy proposes to create in India a vibrant knowledge society. Now, what is the meaning of vibrant knowledge society? It is a dynamic community where knowledge is actively created, then shared, and then utilized to drive innovation, economic growth, and social well-being. So knowledge society means everything revolves around knowledge creation. And knowledge creation is research. So it is giving a lot of focus to research now. And NEP 2020 proposes to achieve its goals by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary. These three words are used in this. They are very important. Holistic education, flexible, and multidisciplinary. And there are 5 pillars of this policy. These are the 5 pillars on which this policy is based. One is access. Second is quality. third is equity, fourth is affordability, and then accountability. All these aspects are the 5 pillars on which this policy is based. And when I say holistic education, holistic means we should focus on not only mental education, we should focus on physical development, emotional development, mental and social. That is the meaning of holistic development. And when we say equity, it means education needs to be imported in country with equity. Equity is on the right side, you can see. You have to be fair, social justice, unlike equality, which is on the left side. So here the focus is on equity. And one thing you have to remember, why I am focusing on empowering teachers. Because please remember, the quality of an education system can never exceed the quality of its teachers. Therefore, if you want to raise the quality of an education system, you must raise the competence level of the teachers. And that is what this whole policy and this talk aims at. And you all know that empower teachers, then in turn, they will empower their students. Therefore, everything is around student learning. We are going to support student learning. And why we are focused? Because, India is one of the youngest nations of the world. Our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children who come to our, institutions. 50% of the population is less than 25 years. And this is in contrast to the world where population is aging. So we need to ready these children for future. And to a great extent, responsibility rests with you, the teachers. So you have to understand your responsibility. And please remember, students may be 25% of our population, but then they are 100% of our future. Our entire future depends on them. So they need to be put on the right track. They need to be given right education. Because please remember, a child miseducated is a child lost. We cannot afford to lose even a single child. No talent of the country should go waste. That's why, this entire exercise is being done through NEP. So this was about the spirit behind NEP 2020. Now I will just touch the traditional roles of a teacher in higher education. See, if you look at the role, these are the major roles. To disseminate knowledge, that is teaching. Then to create knowledge, that is research and guide research. And then academic administration and management. And then a teacher is expected to excel in all these 3 roles. Now, based on my experience, my advice to you people is, if you want to become an outstanding teacher or a researcher, you should have a very sound and deep knowledge in your discipline. You should be very good in practical skills. You should have the full clarity of concepts in your discipline, and your teaching should reflect the amount of thinking you have done on the subject. And then you should also be passionate. You should have the passion to become an outstanding teacher or a researcher. Because for researcher also, in your research area, you should be up to date. And then, if you want to be an outstanding researcher, besides what I have said, you need to be an out-of-box thinker. You should have an analytical mind. You should be innovative and creative. And then 4 C's. 4 C's is curiosity, creativity, courage, and commitment. These are the things which are a big asset for a researcher. See, it's very easy to say all these things, but very difficult to have it in practice. Therefore, try to understand these are very, very important things. And then Both for an outstanding teacher or a researcher, you should have excellent communication and presentation skills. For teacher, for example, every day in the class, how you communicate, how well you present your ideas, that matters a lot. Because, no one will really take the pains to listen to your ideas until and unless your communication is effective and impressive. And therefore, you should make efforts in this direction. That's something which I wanted to say. It's never too late. And please remember, all the great speakers were bad speakers at first. But then they worked hard and then they reached to the top. And then there was no looking back. So this is something you have to keep it in mind. Having said that, now I come to part B, where I will talk about the challenges in the 21st century. Now, here I will talk about the challenges in higher education. So, see, first I will talk about the challenges from the present information age. See, we are living in an information age where you can get any information just by the click of a button. But then this information age poses many challenges. One is the challenge that it is the age of uncertainty with respect to jobs. See, there is a future of jobs report published by the World Economic Forum, which says that 65% of the children entering primary school right now will be working in jobs that don't even exist right now. So what does it mean? That means we are not sure where our children will be employed tomorrow. Those jobs may not be existing. So this is a challenge for us. Second is, this is an age of mass education. This is an age where more students over the next 30 years will graduate than since the beginning of the recorded history. So what does it mean? That means more and more students will be coming out of universities and colleges in future, because all institutions are trying to increase the gross enrollment ratio, but traditional jobs are becoming less. So that will create a tough competition. That is another challenge. And the third challenge is that this is an age of artificial intelligence. So what does it mean? This is an age where the artificial intelligence will equal the intelligence of the students by the time they finish their formal education. So the question is, if I can have machines with the same intelligence as you, then why do I need you? So that's another problem. And look at this. This is what is going to happen. All those jobs which are of repetitive or predictable nature, which require no critical thinking, no critical analysis, no research base, no specialization, all these jobs are going to be in danger in future. Look at the picture. Humans are working along with robots. That is what is going to happen in future. And Elon Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla, he recently remarked that AI systems will soon be smarter than the smartest human on the earth. Maybe by next year or by 2026. So you can see all these challenges coming from technological advancements. And therefore, the challenge before a teacher is going to be what to teach and how to teach, so that our children are successful in a future that is so uncertain. That's a challenge for each one of them. Second challenge, which is very important in the 21st century, is sustainable development goals. This is a very important challenge. Please remember it. Sustainable development. Now, sustainable development is the burning issue in the world at present. Everybody talks about that. What is sustainable development? Sustainable means something which can be maintained for a long period of time, keeping in view the future generations. And development is always economic development. And why there is a concern for sustainable development in the world? Because, these are the issues. Population is exploding very fast. Currently, we have 8 billion people in the world. By 2050, we will have 9.7 billion people. This population explosion will lead to the fast depletion of resources, including food, minerals, etc. Water scarcity is going to be another issue. FAO report says that by 2025, 1.8 billion people will face acute water scarcity. Then there is a problem of environmental degradation, pollution, and all that. And then climate change, which is a big issue these days. Rising sea level and increase in atmospheric temperature. So all these are the issues for concern in regard to sustainable development. And that is the reason why United Nations in 2015 gave United Nations Agenda 2030, where it gave 17 sustainable development goals for achieving them by 2030. So this agreement was signed. 193 countries, including India, are signatory to this agreement. But why didn't United Nations give any roadmap? It could not, because world is full of diversity and the nature of problem varies from region to region. So you cannot give any particular solution. And look at these 17 goals on the right side. No poverty, zero. Second is zero hunger. Third is good health. Fourth is quality education. Then gender equality and so on. See, if you minutely look at them, these goals represent real world problems. And they are quite complex. And one requires knowledge of several different disciplines if we want to solve them. For example, climate change. Now, if you want to solve the problem of climate change, you need knowledge of climatology, you need knowledge of political science, you need knowledge of economics, you need knowledge of green technologies, you need knowledge of sociology. See, that is the reason why multidisciplinary education is now becoming popular. Because, multidisciplinary education allows students to gain a deeper understanding of the subject matter through the lens of different disciplines. There is problem is one, but you have different perspectives from different disciplines. So all this is basically linked. And recently you must have read, only thing last month it came. Even in our national institutional ranking framework from next year, sustainability is going to be one additional criteria. Whether your school or whether your college or university campus is green enough or not, whether it is sustainable in itself or not. This is again to promote sustainability issues in the country. And when this agreement was signed in 2015, our Prime Minister at that time said, much of India's development agenda is mirrored in the Sustainable Development Goals. As a matter of fact, all policies of the government of India are aligned with these goals. Even G20 meeting which we had last year, its agenda is also, aligned with the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. So you can see the importance of sustainable development in the world. And one of the goals is quality education, goal number 4. And what this goal says, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. And these words come: inclusive, equitable, quality, promoting lifelong learning. And this goal was given in 2015. NEP came in 2020. And you will be surprised to know that the various provisions of NEP 2020 are based on this goal. So even this education policy is aligned with the sustainable development goal. That's the message which I wanted to. And in order to achieve success in these goals, you need education, you need research. That is why it is a challenge for us. The third challenge which I would like to focus is 21st century learning needs. See, it is now said that in the 21st century, if you want to excel, you need at least two things. You need rigorous academic content. You should be very good in your subject. And the second thing is 21st century skills you need. 21st century skills are actually a set of abilities which each one of us should have if we want to succeed in the modern world. And these two things taken together lead to deeper learning, which is an umbrella term for skills and knowledge. And these 21st century skills are these. Look at them. These are the 21st century skills. They come under three categories. Please look at them very carefully. One is the learning skills. Critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Then come literacy skills. Information literacy, media literacy, technology literacy. Then come life skills. Flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. So taken together, these are 12 skills. And they are must for everybody. Whether you are a student or whether you are a teacher, you should have this. They will elevate your job performance. You may be in any job. These will be a big asset to you. And the biggest thing is that, artificial intelligence cannot replicate them. You cannot have a machine with these skills. You can't have a machine which is critically thinking or which is creative or which is having leadership quality. Only humans can have. Therefore, this is going to be very, very important. So, in the light of this, now it is widely agreed that the quality education in the 21st century, this is a very important slide, includes these three things. Knowledge, academic knowledge, disciplinary, interdisciplinary, and practical. That is one component. Second is 21st century skills, which I just mentioned, plus domain-specific skills. You are in physics, then skills related to physics. You are in economics, some skills related to that discipline. And then the third thing is your values, your attitudes, your traits, your personality. And these three things taken together determine your competence. Please note down, this is a very, very important slide. See, when we were students, the focus was always on knowledge. Skills, people talk, but not much. And about personality or values, hardly anybody talked because everybody thought everyone has some personality. But now in the 21st century, all the three things are very important. And you may be in any profession. You are in the teaching, you are in bureaucracy, you are an engineer, you are a doctor. Everywhere you need these three things. That's why, universities are doing skill enhancement courses and value-added courses. Skill enhancement courses will, focus on second point, and value-added courses will improve your personality. So, goal of quality education is to acquire competence. And this slide now is the summary of what I just said. For your competence, you need knowledge, skills, and personality. And even if one of these three things is weak, it will impact your competence adversely. So, developing this competence in our students and in ourselves is a big challenge. So that is also going to be a big challenge. Not only you should have the competence, but you should also impart competence in your students through quality education. Because you will be able to do that only if you are aware of what determines the competence. Now, the fourth challenge, in my opinion, is that we in India need creative and innovative minds in India. See, I sometimes feel there is a crisis of innovation and creativity in Indian education system. Look at the fact, no Indian scientist working in India has been able to get Nobel Prize after 1930. C.V. Raman was the last person. After that, nobody has got while working in India. In chemistry, nobody has ever got. Then these are no doubt Nobel Prize winners, but then they were non-resident Indians. Even you look at Amartya Sen, although he is an Indian, but for years he has been working abroad. Even Abhijit Banerjee is an American citizen. So why I am showing all this? Because, Nobel Prize is not a lifetime achievement award. If you really want to excel in research at that level, besides many other things, you need enormous amount of creativity and open-mindedness. Very important. Then you need willingness to collaborate. You should be ready to collaborate with others. See, we have been told from our school days that every other person is your competitor. Then it becomes very difficult to collaborate. And the third is perseverance and resilience. You should keep on working. Even if some failure occurs, you should bounce back. So these are the three qualities which are must in our researcher, besides many others. And this is the reason why our ranking is poor. See, one of the main reasons for poor world ranking of our higher educational institutions is poor quality of research programs. And we are poor in research because of all those things which I just mentioned. And now it has been said that even our best students sometimes don't come to research. This was reported in Rajya Sabha, that best of the science students, they go to civil services. They go to IAS, etc. They don't come to research. So the question is, why are we lacking in quality research? It ultimately has to do something with our education system. Because only our education system produces researchers for future. So something is fundamentally wrong. And what is wrong in our education system? Just watch this. It is, I think, 2-minute video, but it explains many things.
For decades, people have been finding hundreds of flaws in the education system. No conceptual understanding, no creativity, children are stressed, and the list goes on. All these are symptoms. But what is the root cause to all this? What is the fundamental flaw in the education system? Let us play a rapid-fire game. You have 1 second to answer every question. Let's start. First question, A4? Okay, no more questions. Did you think apple first? 98% of people are most likely to think so. Because that was what we were told in our kindergarten. Imagine that this was done differently. Say we had asked you for all the words starting with A. Ant, ace, April, apt. Different answers would have popped out of everyone's head. Do you see where the problem is? Before children start going to school, every child is unique. Every child thinks different. But the education system makes every child think the same. This is the fundamental flaw in the education system. Why did this start? During the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, the education system was designed to make children ready to work in factories. The factories did not require people to think, but to only work like robots. So, the education system stripped children of their freedom to think and destroyed their true potential. The same education system continues even today. Only the industries have changed. A study by NASA shows that 98% of children think different before they start going to school. As they go through this education system, at 25 years of age, only 2% think different and 98% think the same. So how does the education system make every child the same? Let's go back to the apple example. Kindergarten lessons told us that A is for apple. We asked you for words that start with A. Our education system gave us the answers. We asked you a question. Answers make you the same. Questions make you different. Right from kindergarten, the education system keeps giving answers. Instead of asking children how plants make food, the science teacher gives you the definition of photosynthesis. Instead of asking them to describe the sun, the teacher tells them that the sun is a ball of fire at the center of the solar system. Through their years in school, children lose the capability to think on their own. Whether it is their choice of career or their relationship or any situation in life, they become.
So you can see how our education system strips the children of their ability to think on their own. And that is the reason, why this crisis is there in our education system. Please remember that our education system is still outdated and does not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity among students. And please also remember, without creativity, there can be no progress, because we will be then repeating the same pattern. So this is a challenge for you as a teacher, how to, make our students creative. And creativity comes through curiosity. Curiosity is the mother of creativity. We should encourage curiosity. So how we do that we will talk, but this is a challenge. And therefore, the next challenge I am coming is, there is a need to enhance quality of higher education imparted in India. See, I have talked about 4 challenges. This is the 5th challenge. And this is the most important one. Because, it deals with imparting the education. See, in education, 3 things are very important. What do we teach? That comes under curriculum. Then how do we teach? Mainly we are talking about pedagogy. And then how do we assess our students? And if you look at our education system, we have 21st century students, but sometimes the content which we teach is 19th century. Our methods of teaching, our assessment methods, our courses, architecture, all old, outdated 20th century. It seems we have not changed much with the time. Now, for example, look at curriculum. Curriculum is what? Curriculum is the total learning experience in any program. It's like the menu which we offer to the students. What do we teach? And the biggest challenge which is going to come from curriculum is from the growth of knowledge. The knowledge in all disciplines is growing very, very fast. So fast that the doubling time of the growth of knowledge has shrunk considerably. Shelf life of knowledge is becoming shorter day by day. See, there was a time when human knowledge was doubling in 150 years. But now human knowledge is doubling in less than 73 days. So what does it mean? It means that the curriculum becomes outdated as soon as it is created. And therefore, you have to keep it in mind that what you know in any discipline is merely a drop, and what you do not know is an ocean. This is something you have to keep it in mind. That is the reason why NEP 2020 says we need to revise our syllabi more frequently. We need to have light syllabi so that there is more time for thinking. But it should be modern. Outdated syllabi will not help. Outdated syllabi will increase the gap between what is learned and what should be learned. And that also affects the quality of research. See, one of the reasons why we have not been able to become leaders in many fields and are still followers, this is outdated syllabi. We still teach very old things. And then we also need to have a coordination between school and higher education. See, look at this person, Professor C.N.R. Rao. He is the Bharat Ratna scientist. He says 90% of the universities in India have outdated curriculum. Therefore, we need to have the skill-based and industry-led curriculum. That is the need of the hour. Because the world is shifting towards skill-based economy. In future, more focus is going to be on practical knowledge and hands-on experience. And teachers need to be trained accordingly. Because you cannot teach knowledge and skills in the same way. Skill is practical. Knowledge is theoretical. You need different approaches for teaching them. And skills are becoming so important that it is now said, future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. Then the second point in education is pedagogy. How do you teach? Pedagogy means art and science of teaching. Unfortunately, we still follow the same traditional talk and chalk method, which is teacher-centric, mainly a monologue. You cannot explain many concepts on the board. It presumes that all students learn in identical fashion. That may not be true. Some may be slow learners, some may be fast, some may be just average. You can't solve many problems in the class due to the paucity of time. And then it is a teacher-centric approach. Teacher governs everything class. And then, this method focuses more on examination, rote learning, and scoring high marks. That's a serious drawback. See, look at this picture. Nobody wants to learn the concepts in any discipline. Everybody wants to score 90 plus marks. See, irony of our country is that we focus more on well-filled mind. We keep on filling the minds of young, learners with more and more knowledge. That's of no use. We need to focus on well-formed mind. The mind which is formed out of thinking, innovation, and creativity. And please remember, era of rote learning is over. We have to accept it. And real education is that which transforms the learner, which brings about a transformation in the learner. Just as a seed gets transformed to plant and plant gets transformed to tree, like that. Therefore, we will have to change our method of teaching. And now it is said, learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of the learners. So we need to engage our students, our learners, in various activities. And this pedagogy is called learner-centric education. The thinking behind learner-centric education is that students will learn best when they are engrossed in the topic, motivated to seek out new knowledge and skills, because they need them to solve the problems at hand. And all this is possible in this information age. And even experiential learning, that is also a learner-centric education, because it's based on what you do, activity. And this learners, that is what, fostering experiential learning and critical thinking among students is an important objective of NEP 2020. But how will you foster? You have to follow learner-centric methods. We will talk in another lecture, but learner-centric method is not any particular method. All these methods come under learner-centric. The basic thinking is the learners are involved in various activities. They do themselves. Problem-based learning, project-based learning, case studies, inquiry-based learning, flipped classroom, collaborative learning, TPS strategy, community outreach, travel, internship, UG research program, all come under learner-centric education. So you will have to shift to this now. And once we follow learner-centric education, The roles of the learners will also change from a passive learner, which they were in the talk and chalk method. They will now become active, highly independent, and creative thinker. That is what we need. So this is a big challenge. You all must have been taught by the traditional talk and chalk method, but you will have to change yourself, and changing is a big challenge. Look at these universities, Harvard, Stanford, Wharton. In all of them, the focus is more on case studies, project-based learning, problem-based learning, collaborative learning, and very little focus on lecture-based learning. We still follow mainly the focus in India is on lecture-based learning. And please remember, if we teach today's student as we taught yesterday's, we are going to rob them of tomorrow. We will have to change with the changing times. So this is something you have to keep it in mind, that you will have to change with the changing times. This was my article in Times of India's Education Times, Creativity Crisis in the Indian Education System. This was about flipped classroom. And the third is, how do we assess our student? This is also very important. And the new education policy says we need to transform the culture of assessment in the country, because assessment drives learning. The way you will assess your student will start learning in that way. So that can be a good way to enhance the quality of education in the country. See, if you look at our current examination system, it is mainly rote-based, mainly about textbook content and everything given there. Anything, if it comes outside the textbook, people protest and they say it is out of syllabus. Is that the purpose of education? See, assessment process should be made more scientific to encourage multiple skills of the students. Whatsoever skills you want to be nurtured in the students, only those skills should be tested. Then those will be nurtured. And what are those skills? Analytical thinking, critical thinking, creativity, conceptual clarity. All these things are very important. See, we still follow the traditional paper. We take it very lightly to set a question paper. We take last 5 years question paper and set the next. That's, that whole purpose is defeated. And in this entire exercise, teachers can play a very important role. See, currently we have about 15 lakh teachers in higher education. We have more than 4 crore students in higher education. They appear in various exams. How you assess them, how you test them, that can change them. So your competence, your creativity, your skills matter the most. And the sixth challenge, in my opinion, which is another very important, is you all need to embrace technology and become tech savvy. This is another challenge. See, it's difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. See, so many digital tools are there, digital resources are there, e-learning platforms are there, everywhere things are there. Even NEP 2020 says that the relationship between technology and education at all levels is bidirectional. Technology enhances the quality of education, and enhanced quality of education then further improves the technology. So they feed on each other. So, this is what is very much a part of our NEP. And look at this. Technology has totally changed the way education is imparted in the country. I think this single slide summarizes everything. And all this happened during Corona times. Teaching learning has changed. E-learning, MOOCs, PowerPoint presentations, very common. Experimental work in certain subjects done through virtual labs. Revision of syllabi now you can do very quickly through email, discussion forum, video conferencing. For research, so many ICT tools have come, which have totally changed the way research is conducted now. Most of the exams in the country are online. Assessment has changed. National Testing Agency has been created. Professional development of the teachers is online, like this program. And then so many ICT empowered pedagogies have come. So you can see this slide is basically a consequence of integration of technology with education. And in all of them, teachers are involved. Everywhere teacher is involved. Why not you? So that is a challenge for you. You will have to become tech savvy. So, being tech savvy is now no longer optional for you. It is essential for providing high quality education, meeting the needs of modern students, and preparing them for a technology driven world. It's not optional. There are some senior teachers who may not be tech savvy. No, you will have to become. There is no way out. And then, you should also remember that technology in education is a journey. Technology is changing very, very fast. Now, artificial intelligence is coming, which is actually redefining the education in the world. And the way artificial intelligence is impacting education, it is actually revolutionizing the way we teach, learn, and research. So all these things you will have to learn. See, never in the history have been so many challenges before the teachers as in the current times. Therefore, I thought this lecture in the beginning is a must for you, which will tell you what all you need to do. And please remember, technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers is transformational. If you are a great teacher and you are also tech savvy, then that combination can do wonders. This was my report in Times of India. Technology won't replace teachers. And next challenge which I am coming is, in the light of what all I have said, the roles of the teachers are going to change. That itself is a challenge. The roles of the teachers are going to change significantly in the 21st century. Now you will have to become tech-savvy teachers in ICT skills, 21st century skills, artificial intelligence skills. If your students are enrolled in e-learning and MOOCs, and if they have some queries, who will answer you? So you must learn how to manage virtual classroom and discussion forum. You need to engage students by learner-centric pedagogies. So teacher will now become, like a coach or a mentor or a guide rather than the knowledge provider. See, there was a time when teacher was considered to be the only source of knowledge, but not now. Now there are multiple sources of knowledge. And then you should also be proficient in the development of e-content and MOOCs. See, currently, you all know, we have a SWAYAM platform on which there are about, I think, 4,000 courses. MOOCs are there. 4,000 MOOCs are there. All those have been developed by the teachers. And for developing MOOCs, you should be very proficient in the development of e-content. You should be a great teacher. You should have excellent writing skills. Because, now the roles of the teachers are shifting from knowledge givers to facilitators of learning. This is a big change. Because there are so many sources of knowledge, all because of online education. So, ladies and gentlemen, a change of mindset is required in each one of you. Don't think that what I know is enough. No, I must learn more. And then always think of this quote: birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. You will have to come out of that shell. And now, I come to the last challenge, which I think is also very, very important. I want to give you some personality development tips for enhancing your competence. These are all based on my experience, my own life. Nobody told us, but what I learned, I'm going to share it with you. And these can change your life. As I mentioned earlier also, these three things determine your competence. Knowledge we have talked, skills we have talked. Now we will focus on personality. By personality, I mean a set of traits and behavior that characterize an individual. Personality doesn't mean your looks only. Please remember that. And why personality is important, you will be surprised to know that 87% of all people fail not because of capability, but because of personality. And the worst part is they don't know that their personality is coming in the way of their job performance. That's the worst part. So personality is so important that it influences almost every aspect of human life. And that is why I am giving here some personality development tips in the form of life lessons to enhance your competence. See, they can change your total life. Believe you me, it has happened with me, it can happen with you. And one thing you should remember before I go further, life can only be understood backwards, but then it has to be lived forwards. There's no way out. Look at this picture. The old grand lady telling little girl, it's only a short trip, enjoy it. That means life looks like an eternity, but actually it is just a short trip. You won't know when this trip will be over. You may be also currently 30, 40, 50-year-old. So many years have gone. And therefore, the lesson from this is learn the art of living. We should all learn the art of living. It's very unfortunate that most of the people only exist. Living has become rare. And please remember, you only live once, but if you live it right, then one is more than enough. So when I say art of living means capability to draw pleasure from life and to succeed in the greatest test called life. So life is a test as well as you can draw pleasure from it. That's the art. That's the art of living. And one more thing. Look at this report which came in Indian Express. India ranks 126 out of 143 nations in World Happiness Index. And it says India is not that happy. People are stressed. They don't know what to do, angry, all sort of problems. They are not able to take decision, angry mood, all that. So many problems with Indians. So, the lesson from here is you will never find a happy life. You will have to make it. And there is no perfect life, but we can fill it with perfect moments. Having said that, the first point which I want you to keep it in mind as a life lesson is be proactive in life. See, everyone chooses how to approach life. So if you are proactive, you focus on preparing. If you are reactive, you end up focusing on repairing. So proactive people can take initiative, they can make choices, and thus they are able to control outcomes. So this is the benefit of being proactive. You take action well in advance. So proactive people don't wait for the ship to come in, they swim out to it. That's the meaning. So be proactive. This is one point. Second is, you should all come out of your comfort zone. See, many of us are not able to make a mark in our life because very soon we start living in a comfort zone. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It's only after you have stepped out of your comfort zone that you begin to change, grow, and transform. See, many people think, oh, I'm getting a very good salary. My husband or wife getting good salary. Children are well set. Why should I work? That sort of attitude is also there. So that is a sort of comfort zone. So come out of the comfort zone. And then whatsoever your goal is, work hard sensibly. I know many of you must be hard working, but sensible is the point. You have to keep it in mind. Sensible means direction is more important than speed. Choose your direction very carefully. Of course, you are free to choose any direction, but then you will not be free from the consequences of your choice. Think very carefully. Sometimes I feel, it's very unfortunate that many of us spend more time planning our vacation rather than managing our career. We don't plan our career. Please think over that and choose what way you have to go. And then remember that life is a process. No one will rise suddenly in the world, not even the sun. But follow the right direction, be persistent, and have a never give up attitude. Then there will be no looking back. Then self-belief is another quality which you should have. Look at this quote. A bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not in the branch but in her own wings. That's believe in yourself. This can do wonders for you. And one who believes in himself has no need to convince others. Then self-discipline is another thing which through practice you can acquire, and this can change your life. Self-discipline means mastery over your thoughts. If you can control what you think, you can always control what you do. Because, there is nothing in this world that can trouble you more than your own thoughts. And we are always thinking. On an average person thinks 70,000 thoughts a day. Cages are not made of iron. They are made of our thoughts. Therefore, if you can learn self-control, mindset, that's basically mindset. See, brain is an organ. Inside the brain, there is a mind, which is like a software, which you can control. If you can learn self-control, you can master anything. You should practice this. And then always strive for excellence. And this self-control will also make you mentally tough. Because this is a quality which you need sometimes, especially in the face of adversity. You need to be mentally tough. So it will prepare you for that also. And then always strive for excellence. Excellence should be your key word. Look at this quote. A penguin can never be a giraffe. So try to be the best penguin you can be. Then be positive and honest. Always positive thinking. See, 11 marks out of 10, height of positivity. See, positive thinkers will always have a solution for every problem, and negative thinkers will have a problem for every solution. And we meet both types of people in our day-to-day life. Be positive. And one more thing, many of us do not, venture into new things because they fear failure. You should overcome the fear of failure in life. इस कोट को देखिए, जब तक तुम डरते रहोगे, तुम्हारी जिंदगी के फैसले कोई और लेता रहेगा. Overcome fear of failure. Failures can be the pillars of success, depending on how you take them. Fail is first attempt in learning. Take it like that. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the part of success. It goes on. And this is a very important. Psychology says that your attitude towards failure determines your altitude after failure. Again, mindset comes. And then stop worrying and start with. This is a common problem. Even in World Happiness Index, people worry a lot. So the message is stop worrying and start living. Because, worry is a misuse of your imagination. You suffer more in imagination than in reality. And that's why it is said, one day you will look back and realize that you worry too much about things that don't really matter. But by that time, time would have gone and you cannot undo it. See, the best thing in life is you worry only about the things which are in your control. And what is in your control? Your attitude, your effort, your focus. And what is out of your control, what others will think, what will be the opinion of others, what will happen in future. Why you bother about that? This simple, thinking can help you a lot. And then take risks in life also. Because sometimes you need to lose small battles in order to win the war. Be prepared to lose if you want to win in life. What's wrong? And one more thing which I added here was create a sense of urgency in your life. See, look at the left side. If you give yourself 30 days to clean your home, it will take you 30 days. If you give yourself 3 hours, it will take you 3 hours. So work expands according to the time available. The same thing applies to your goals, ambitions, and potential. You can create a new life for yourself by creating more urgency in your current life. Your life will change. Create a more urgency. Be a person in a hurry. Set deadlines. Stick to them. And then control anger. Anger is a normal emotion, but everybody gets angry. So whenever you get angry, think of this slide. The fire of anger burns you first. So if you are ready to burn yourself, then get angry. So just keep this thing in mind. And whenever you are angry, never say mean words out of anger, which is very common. Because your anger will pass, but your mean words can scare a person for life. Use kind words or rather be silent. And one more thing, psychology says, beneath anger, there is always some fear. Whenever you are angry, there is some fear in your mind. That's why you get angry. Think over this. और एक ये भी कहते हैं ना कि किसी पर ज्यादा नाराज होने से बेहतर है कि अपने जीवन में उसकी अहमियत को ही कम कर. So, ladies and gentlemen, time management is, of course, most important. The richest person on the earth and the poorest both get 24 hours a day. The secret to success is how you manage those 24 hours. और एक अमिताभ का ये कोट है ना, कल खो दिया आज के लिए, आज खो दिया कल के लिए, कभी जी ना सके हम आज के लिए, बीत रही है जिंदगी कल आज और कल के लिए. That is the whole life passes and we keep on thinking, oh, better will come, tomorrow will be better. Live in the present. Every day is once in a lifetime. कई बार तो ये कहते हैं कि every day is the first day of the rest of your life. So invest your time. Don't spend it. देखिए, इनको ये कोट्स मत समझिए, इनके पीछे बड़ा मीनिंग है. ये रियलाइजेशन सबको लाइफ में आ जाएगा, पर ज्यादातर जब रियलाइजेशन तब आता है जब टाइम निकल चुका हो. इसलिए मैं आपको ये बता रहा हूं. ये एक बड़ा अच्छा कोड है. बंदी है हाथ पर सबके घड़ियां, मगर पकड़ में किसी के एक लम्हा भी नहीं. जस्ट थिंक, टाइम स्पेयर्स नो वन. टाइम के आगे सबको झुकना पड़ता है. और ये मैंने एक सॉन्ग बॉलीवुड से लिया है, पर छोटा सा है पर अच्छा है. देखिए, समय की धारा में, समय की धारा में, Okay, all these were big actors with so much fan following, and see how they were at their end. Time spares no one. So the message is live in the present and make the best use of it. Live in the moment. Because the Present moment is the only moment available to us, and it is the door to all moments. Life becomes more meaningful when you realize the simple fact that you will never get the same moment twice. Please remember that. एक बड़ा अच्छा हिंदी का कोट है, मैं कल को तलाशता रहा दिन भर और शाम होते होते मेरा आज भी चला गया. That's what generally it happens. And then have a high opinion of yourself. This is also something very important. Because having a low opinion of yourself is not modesty, it is self-destruction. Think high of yourself. It is a necessary precondition for happiness and success. Because you may not be perfect in many things, agreed, but then many things cannot be perfect without you also. So stay special in your own little ways. You are unique. No one can match you. And one more thing, before this also I added, never become arrogant in life. Sometimes, a small success goes into a person's head and the person becomes arrogant. Never become that. Because, arrogance is the surest path to failure. और ये कोट देखिए, कभी किसी चीज का घमंड आ जाए तो शमशान का एक चक्कर लगा आना, तुमसे बेहतरीन लोग वहां राख बने पड़े. जस्ट बस इसी को याद कर लो तो आप कभी भी नहीं घमंड. These are the realities. Remember, you are dust and to dust you shall return. So keep this reality of life always in mind. तो ये passing phase होता है, कभी arrogant आदमी बन जाता है, नहीं होना चाहिए. तो कहते हैं ना कि समय और भाग्य पर कभी अहंकार मत करो, क्योंकि ये दोनों परिवर्तनशील है. पता ही नहीं चलेगा, किसी मोमेंट सब कुछ ही बदल जाए. फिर आदमी सोचता है चलो. So ladies and gentlemen, now I am coming to the end of my talk. At the end of the day, you will agree that your biggest competition is with you. You should become the master of your mind and not the puppet of your mind. Be your own king. And you will be your own king if you know how to rule yourself. So that is what you should try to do. कहते हैं ना कि you don't have the problem, you are the problem. स्वर्ग भी तू है, नरक भी तू है, इन दोनों का फर्क भी तू. तभी तो ये कहते हैं कि जिंदगी छोटी नहीं होती, लोग जीना ही देरी से शुरू करते हैं. जब तक रास्ते समझ में आते हैं तब तक लौटने का वक्त हो जाता है. तो देर से ही जीना शुरू करो, पर शुरू कर दो, नहीं तो फिर टाइम ही नहीं मिलेगा जीने के लिए. That's why it is said, it's never too late to be what you might have been. That's why I said it is a motivational talk for you. It can change your life. I learned all these lessons very late. I became lecturer in Delhi University when I was just 21. But nobody taught us these things. We had to struggle. We had to learn so many things. That is why I make it a point to be part of my talk so that, you can benefit from these experiences. Challenges keep us fresh. Okay, there is a very famous quote. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. Similarly, humans are not designed to be happy in status quo. So continue to remain dissatisfied so that you can get better and better, because challenges are what keep us fresh. I'll just take 1 minute more. Don't take every challenge as a problem. Take every problem as a challenge. तभी तो कहते हैं कि challenges are the doorways to excellence. They are the opportunities in disguise. और एक बड़ी famous Chinese proverb है, देखिए इसको. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls while others build windmills. It's up to you how you make use of the opportunities. So, I will close by this. Things end, people leave. Time passes. Memories fade. Feelings change. And you know what? Life goes on. One day you will be just a memory for some people. Do your best to be a good one. And the last one, जिंदगी के रंगमंच पर अपना किरदार इतनी शिद्दत से निभाएं कि पर्दा गिरने के बाद भी तालियां बजती रहें। जिंदगी नहीं मिलेगी दोबारा। Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you about the various challenges, including the life lesson, which itself is a big challenge. Because normally we never cover these things, but I think this is a much bigger challenge than the other one. So all the best, and thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. There are chat boxes full of praises, of course, that goes without saying. It is really, really very inspiring, motivational, insightful lecture. It is full. I will just read one question that somebody has. Oh, yeah. This is Admin Angel.
Let them, Babita, if possible,
Okay.
let you unmute them and let them speak.
Fine, sir. Admin Angel Ratna Bhai. Please unmute yourself.
Any question, any comment, any suggestion, please unmute and speak. You are all teachers. You should introduce yourself and speak.
सर मैं कुछ बात करना चाहता हूँ आपसे।
हाँ बोलिए, प्लीज बोलिए, अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दीजिए। और
सर आई एम डॉक्टर ज्वलंत त्रिवाड़ी फ्रॉम अमरेली कमाणी साइंस एंड प्रताप रायर्स कॉलेज, सौराष्ट्र, गुजरात से हूँ मैं।
ओके।
आपने जो बताया उसमें मुझे ये कहना है कि ये एनईपी का प्रोग्राम सरकार बहुत अच्छा चला रही है, बहुत इन्वेस्टमेंट भी किया है, लेकिन जो हेलीकॉप्टर में से विजन आता है वो एक्चुअली ग्राउंड लेवल पर नहीं आता है। तो मैं क्योंकि थोड़ा छोटे से विलेज से हूँ, अमरेली बहुत छोटा विलेज है, सिटी है लेकिन उतना बड़ा नहीं है जैसे दिल्ली, मुंबई, अहमदाबाद वगैरह जैसे। तो यहाँ की ग्राउंड रियलिटी ये है, और ऐसे सभी जगह होगी। सम प्रोफेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस प्रोड्यूस ग्रेजुएट्स विदाउट नॉलेज। जब मैं कभी प्रैक्टिकल की एग्जाम लेने जाता हूँ तो मैं वहाँ एकदम इजी क्वेश्चंस पूछता हूँ, जैसे कि हाइड्रोनियम आयन क्या होता है, तो वो भी TYBS थर्ड ईयर BSc के स्टूडेंट्स को पता नहीं रहता। फिर भी वहां से हर साल बहुत सारे लोग स्टूडेंट्स ग्रेजुएट होते हैं। दैट इज प्रोडक्शन ऑफ ग्रेजुएट। जहां तक मुझे ख्याल है स्वामी विवेकानंद ने कहा था कि मुझे सिर्फ 10 नचिकेता चाहिए तो मैं पूरे भारतवर्ष की शक्ल सूरत बदल दूंगा। और सरदार पटेल ने भी ऐसे ही कुछ अच्छी डेफिनेशन दी है एजुकेशन के बारे में। लेकिन अभी जो हो रहा है वो प्रोफेशनलिज्म इतना बढ़ गया है कि गली गली पे कॉलेजेस, प्राइवेट कॉलेजेस खुली हुई है, तो वहाँ कोई नॉलेज की इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है, वहाँ सिर्फ प्रोडक्शन ऑफ ग्रेजुएट्स होता है। मैंने देखा है वो वैसी कॉलेज में स्टाफ भी नहीं है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी नहीं है, एजुकेशन भी नहीं है। देन out of such colleges, if without knowledge students go to industry, what would be outcome? और ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स के पास हम रिसर्च लेवल की क्या अपेक्षा रख सकते हैं? और दूसरी बात मुझे ये बतानी है, ये मेरा क्वेश्चन नहीं है, ये मेरा दर्द है, क्योंकि जो लोग हेलीकॉप्टर में बैठ के देख रहे हैं उसको ये नहीं पता चलता है। और उसमें भी क्या होता है कि सिंडिकेट मेंबर्स की अपनी ही कॉलेज होती है, तो उसमें यही सब चलता है। स्टूडेंट्स को फेल होने का इम्पोर्टेंस ही पता नहीं है। उन लोगों के लिए इंटरनल एग्जाम, असाइनमेंट्स, क्विज वगैरह वगैरह का इतना अच्छा स्ट्रक्चर जनरेट कर दिया है कि वो लोग कोई फेल होते ही नहीं है। जितनी आप जल्दी फी भर देंगे कॉलेज में, उतना इंटरनल में आपको ज्यादा मार्क आएगा। हमारी तो ग्रांटीनेट कॉलेज है, हमारे यहाँ 27 मैक्सिमम मार्क्स होते हैं, मैक्सिमम। और ये जो प्राइवेट दुकानों खुली हुई है, शॉप्स खुली हुई है, उसमें मिनिमम इंटरनल मार्क आउट ऑफ 30 25 होते हैं मिनिमम। मैक्सिमम की तो बात नहीं पूछो। और दूसरी बात मुझे ये बतानी है कि आपने जो पेडागोजी का बताया, तो एक्चुअली गवर्नमेंट को ये सर्वे करना चाहिए कि लोकल स्टाफ को क्या चाहिए, उसको क्या दिक्कत है, और सरप्राइज चेकिंग होना चाहिए कि यहाँ पर जो हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए ये सेमिनार कोर्सेज वगैरह करते हैं, तो उसमें से 10-20% भी कॉलेज में होता है कि नहीं होता है। तभी ये आप जो जितना खर्च कर रहे हैं, जितना एफर्ट लगा रहे हैं, तो वो सही मायने में सही होगा। और हमारा एजुकेशन रियली सरदार पटेल की डेफिनेशन के अनुसार और स्वामी विवेकानंद की डेफिनेशन के अनुसार अच्छा होगा। एक बात मुझे ये भी बतानी है, मुझे व्यक्त करनी है, कुछ बताना नहीं है, कुछ पूछना नहीं है, कि हम वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज की नकल करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मुझे पता है कि जो इतने भी डेवलप कंट्रीज है, उसमें सबसे ज्यादा हमारे डॉक्टर्स की डिमांड है, हमारे इंजीनियर्स की डिमांड है, हमारे सॉफ्टवेयर जो इंजीनियर्स है उसकी डिमांड है, हमारे साइंटिस्ट की डिमांड है, किसी भी डेवलप कंट्री में चला जाए। और वो सब हमारी वही एजुकेशन सिस्टम से आ रही है कि जो कि एनईपी नहीं हुआ करती, जबकि ईयरली सिस्टम था, जबकि टीचर्स को पूरे साल पढ़ाने के लिए पूरा वक्त मिलता था। टीचर स्टूडेंट्स को डांट भी फटकार सकते थे, उसका कान भी ऐसे ट्विस्ट करके पूछ सकते थे कि ये तूने क्यों किया और ये तूने क्यों नहीं किया। अभी तो पूरा ऐसा सिस्टम है कि कोई स्टूडेंट्स को कुछ पूछ नहीं सकता और पास ही हो जा रहे, पास ही, उसको फेल होने की प्रैक्टिस ही नहीं है। तब क्या होगा भविष्य में, क्योंकि वो थरली पास हो जा रहे हैं, उसको जिंदगी में फेल क्या है, वो फेल्योर क्या होता है वो पता ही नहीं है। फिर छोटी छोटी मुसीबत के कारण भी वही मास ऑफ स्टूडेंट जो रास्ते नहीं लेने चाहिए, जब फेल होंगे जिंदगी में, तो जो रास्ते नहीं लेने चाहिए वो रास्ते ले लेंगे, जैसे कि ड्रग्स, जैसे कि दारू की लत, जैसे कि सुसाइड। ऐसा मुझे डर है, मैं आशा रखता हूँ कि मेरा डर गलत ही साबित हो। बस मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता था। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। आपकी ऑब्जर्वेशन अच्छा है, जो कि आपने रियलिटी बताई, जो कि एक आई ओपनर है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। एनीबडी एल्स?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, in your presentation in a video, you have shown that when the modern education comes, in which the education is focusing on, feeding the children with A for apple. But in your presentations, you're also focusing on that education is always need to be demand of the time, you know. So maybe we can say that at that point of a time when industry was going up, the demand of the student should be like that. And if today's time the demand is like that, so in that way, is it justified to have that? We should always focus on the present needs. Maybe industrial system was justified in that sense that we are feeding the children according to the industrial needs, but we are bearing the brunt of that industrial needs in today's time as well. So just a clarification, sir.
Whatsoever you are saying is correct. What I was saying was that our education system earlier mainly focused on rote learning, scoring high marks, and passing the examination. There was not much focus on making them more creative. Although, even at that time, many creative minds did come who did research at that time also. But most of the time, focus was on scoring high marks and do that. Now the realization is coming. Now we are in the world in Industrial Revolution 4 and 5, where technological advancements are changing the society. And in this changing society, rote learning is not going to pay. Because, creativity has always been in demand and has always been part of the society. Otherwise, whatsoever we teach to our students, that is the result of the research work of some people. And that research work came out of creativity. Because in any research, the starting point is you have to come out with a problem. Because that is the starting point in any research work. And that comes out of your creativity. And creativity comes out of your vast knowledge, creative thinking skills, and motivation. Because, it is said, creativity is connecting the previously unconnected dots. So if you have a vast knowledge, you have creative thinking, then you can think of what can be combined, what can be done. That thinking part is missing in our education system. Although, I fully agree with you that there have always been some peaks of excellence in our education system, always. Whether those peaks of excellence were because of the system or in spite of the system, that's a question mark. But there have always been some people, there's no doubt about that. But what I mean is, India is one of the youngest nations. If every person can become creative, it can be a big, help for India. That's what my emphasis. But you have made a very relevant point. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll read out this question. Dr. Ratnabai doesn't seem to respond. This is, in practice, it looks like present education system is designed more to enhance students' skills and competence for jobs. Of course, it is indirectly that will enhance the collective well-being. However, no enough stress is given to human qualities, development like moral, ethical values, altruism, etc., which creates social capital for peace and harmony, necessary for creating environment for sustainable material development for collective well-being. To what extent NEP 2020 can address the problem of putting the vision statement into effective implementation?
No, you are very right that we have been always focusing more on knowledge and skills. And even in this policy, the focus is more on knowledge and skills. Only the nature of the skills is changing. And the nature of the skills has changed because, the world of work is changing very fast. Job landscape is changing very, very fast. Traditional jobs are getting, disappeared. They are no longer in demand. And for new types of the job, you need new types of skill set. That somehow is not coming out of our education system. That is the reason why many of our engineers out of our leading institutions are underemployed or not employed. You must have read 2-3 days back, it was a report that for the first time, the students of IIT Bombay could not get a placement this time. Otherwise, it was always thought that once you are in IIT, you are bound to get a good placement. But this happened that IIT Bombay students could not get placement. So what does it show? It shows that the skills which they acquire and the skills which industries require, there is a big gap between the two. And why this is happening? Because we are not revising our syllabi more frequently. Because one engineering graduate will take about 4 years. In 4 years, many things have changed. What you would have thought 4 years back. That is the reason why they didn't get the placement. So fast is the growth of knowledge. So fast is the demand for skills. People are now looking beyond academics. Many big companies, they don't want degrees, provided you have the skill set. That is how the world is changing. And this is very much there, and we need to focus on that. Unfortunately, in our country, we are not able to do that. And sometimes one more thing which I notice is we sometimes teach skills the same way as we teach knowledge. As I mentioned in the talk also, knowledge is theoretical, skill is practical. So the more you practice, the better you become in skill. That is why it is said repetition is the mother of skill. But that's not happening in our system. Our teachers are also not trained how to teach skill. So everything revolves around the professional development of the teacher. They need to be trained. Because without that, system will not improve. That's why I said an institution is ultimately as good as its faculty. Anyway, thank you.
So this another question by Dr. Ritu Barwa. You can put up your question to sir. Can you unmute yourself? Ritu Barwa. So I'll read the question. Along with skill and
Let the person, she is not there anyway.
I think
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening. Good evening all.
Hello, madam.
Actually, I wanted to ask you a question. Just like being skill and IDC is being implemented in the NEB program, what about the ethics and the moral science being a part of the NEB program too, which is very much needed in the younger generation?
That's very true,
in the
very
present-
true. That's why, I gave you all these personality development lessons.
Yeah,
Actually, these things should be taught from kindergarten onwards.
exactly, sir.
So
Exactly.
that, we have good human beings. When I say good human beings, I mean from the point of view of values.
Yeah,
These should be inculcated in them. We hardly give any importance to these things.
yeah,
So you are very right that we need to focus on that, and all these personality traits, etc., need to be built from childhood so that it becomes a habit. They become good.
exactly. They become a habit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because skills should become your habits.
Mm.
Even 21st century skills, which I mentioned, if they are nurtured in our students from school days, by the time they will come to college or university, they will already be critical thinker, information literate, everything will be there in them.
Mm.
So I think I fully agree with you, Ritu, that this needs to be done. Unfortunately, it's not done in our education system.
Exactly.
That's why there are so many problems in the society also.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Ritu?
Yeah, I'm from Assam. I'm from Hattadab University. I'm from Assam.
Okay, thank you. Nice, thank you.
See, if there are no more questions.
So, thank you very much then, Babita.
Yeah. So I would like to present a vote of thanks to you, sir. It is an honor for me and a pleasure for me to always attend your sessions. And each time I attend, I feel I'm blessed to be a part of this team, so that I feel that, there's so much more to learn from you. And it is very, very motivating to listen to your lectures. And as I can see, your lectures are so insightful, so informative, so encouraging, so inspiring, that the whole audience here sitting, I'm sure they all felt truly blessed, and they're all immersed in these thoughts that you have shared, and also that human touch that you are teaching to each one of us, which we probably have forgotten. We have all got into the rut of probably looking into the marks, looking into probably financial gains. That is what I feel the whole society is right now involved in. But actually, yes, true meaning of life lies in understanding humans and bringing whatever bit is possible into our lives. So grateful to you, sir, for sharing your thoughts and inspiring. And we look forward to more such sessions from you in the coming days. Namaskar, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And good night, everybody. See you then. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Feedback will be shared, so you people have to fill it up. And
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
good night to each one of you.
Good night to you.